students. In this presentation, we are going to discuss more about basic chemistry, some of which we had discussed in the previous presentation also. So let's begin. Chemistry, as I had discussed before, is defined as the branch of science which deals with the study of composition, structure, and properties of matter and the changes which the matter undergoes under different conditions and the laws which govern these changes. Now, what does the term matter mean in this definition? Although we'll be discussing it in much detail, it is sufficient to mention here that matter is anything or all the substances which we are made up of, which are present in our body or present around us. Which can be visible or may not be visible also. Everything around us is made up of matter. Also, there are two basic units that all the substances, or we can say matter, is made up of, and those are atoms and molecules. Of course, we'll be discussing it later. So, matter, going by the definition, is defined as anything that occupies space, possesses mass, and the presence of which can be felt by any one of or more of our five senses. The examples of matter around us are innumerable. The clothes that we wear, iron, gold, plastics, wood, water, anything that we can think of is made up of matter. There are two ways of classifying matter. One is the physical classification, another is the chemical classification. The physical classification of matter. So, in physical classification, it is classified as solids, liquids, and gases. These all these three solids, liquids, and gases differ from each other in the way the packing of their constituent particles take place. In a solid, the constituent particles are very closely packed in an orderly fashion, and there is not much movement of freedom. So they possess a definite volume and a definite shape, and that's exactly what the definition of a solid is. In a liquid, the particles are comparatively less closer, and therefore they can move a little bit around, and that's why they possess definite volume, but they do not possess any definite shape. They take the shape of the container in which they are put. Gases, on the other hand, have their molecules very far apart, and they have much greater freedom of movement, and that is the reason they do not possess a definite volume, nor do they possess a definite shape. uh, these three states are interconvertible by changing the conditions of temperature and pressure. For example, a solid can be heated to convert into liquid. Similarly, the liquid can be converted into gas by heating, and the other way around by cooling. All right. So, and also you might be knowing about the direct conversion of solid to gas, which is called sublimation. Uh, Also, there is a difference between gases and vapors. I thought it worth mentioning here because vapors present represent a gaseous state of a substance which is liquid at room temperature. A substance which is in gaseous state at room temperature is called a gas, but not a vapor. For example, ammonia is a gas, but water on heating forms water vapor. So that is the difference between vapors and gases. All right, moving forward to the chemical classification. Uh, there are two types of matter, or we can classify it in two ways based on chemical classification. One is homogeneous and another is heterogeneous. All right. So basically any material can be common, which this term can be used commonly for all kinds of matter. It has to be whether homogeneous or a heterogeneous. A material is said to be homogeneous if it consists of only one phase, or which is said to have a uniform composition and identical properties throughout, whereas a material is said to be heterogeneous if it contains a number of different phases. Mostly all the heterogeneous type of matter are mostly mixtures which do not go well with each other, which remain in just a mixture form, which do not gel with each other, and so we can most of the times either visually or chemically separate them. So a salt and sand mixture, an iron and sulfur mixture, where the mixing of the whole phase of the whole mixture, it cannot be uniform throughout. That is the reason it is called heterogeneous. Homogeneous, on the other hand, has to be a chemical mixture, as in it will be a mixture in which a chemical reaction has led to the formation of that particular phase. For example, water is a homogeneous mixture of hydrogen and oxygen, so you cannot separate them, logically speaking, and that is the reason it is going to be called a homogeneous form of matter. Now, basically, in chemical classification of matter, all the types of materials are believed to be made up of substances. A material containing only one type of substance is called a pure substance. On the other hand, a material containing more than one type of substance which is not pure are called mixtures, which is more of a heterogeneous type of matter which we just discussed. All right, so slide of a calculator, if in case you have any problem at mixtures. So mixtures are basically materials which contain two or more substances in any proportion, mostly physically mixed. For example, a mixture of sand and sulfur, or maybe you can say salt and sulfur, is a mixture where more than two compounds are mixed in any proportion. Properties of mixture are always the properties of its constituents. So basically, a mixture is anything that is going to show the individual properties of its constituents, where mostly the mixing is mostly physical, not chemical. So the individual components are going to retain their properties. Now there are two types of mixtures: homogeneous and heterogeneous. If the composition of the mixture is uniform throughout, it is called a homogeneous mixture. Now this cannot be possible in solids, so it is mostly in solutions, or maybe say liquids. So homogeneous mixtures can only be in liquid state, and they are also called solutions. Heterogeneous mixtures are those where the composition is not uniform throughout. At this stage, I would like to mention, at some point or another, I'll be asking you to look for points of difference between compounds and mixtures. As I have already discussed them, I have not kept a separate slide for it, but even if you want, I hope you will be able to write down those points of difference, because in a mixture, so I'll just summarize it for you. So in a mixture, the constituents may be present in any ratio. In compounds, they are always present in a fixed ratio. A mixture can be homogeneous or heterogeneous, but the compounds are always homogeneous. The properties of a mixture are always those of individual are basically those of individual properties of its constituents. The properties of a compound are entirely different from its constituents. The mixture constituents of mixture can be easily separated by any simple physical means. The constituents of a compound cannot be easily separated. uh, the melting and boiling points of mixtures are usually not very definite, not very sharp, because the mixtures are not very good. Because they are generally more of heterogeneous form, whereas the chemical compounds, they possess very sharp melting and boiling points. So these are a couple of points of difference which you can just jot down for yourself. Now let's come to atoms and molecules. Now atoms are the smallest particles of any elements which we discussed just in a couple of slides back, which may or may not be capable of independent existence. So all the elements, they are going to be made up of atoms. Now atoms are those particles of an element which are capable, sometimes depending upon which element it is, or sometimes may not be capable of having an independent existence, because they are very small and they are highly unstable. If they are not capable of independent existence, that means they are unstable. So for example, any element again, from hydrogen to any other element that you can think of, is made up of atoms of that particular element. Molecule, on the other hand, is the smallest particle of a compound or an element which has been combined in a fixed proportion to form a compound. For example, hydrogen gas is made up of two atoms of hydrogen and thus makes a hydrogen molecule. So this contains only one element. For on the other hand, HCl, hydrochloric acid, is again a molecule which is comprising of two other elements, again chemically bonded. So a molecule can be the smallest particle of an element or a compound which can exist freely, because these are highly stable compounds. I hope this is clear. This is just a recapitulation. The atoms are always okay, so I should put it this way: the elements are always comprising of atoms of one particular type, and that is the reason every element has similar types of atoms. So atoms, whenever we talk about, it is always going to connect with elements. For example, sodium, potassium, magnesium, hydrogen, helium, anything you can think of. Similarly, compounds are always going to be made up of molecules. Again, as I discussed in the previous slides, water, carbon dioxide, or any other molecule that you can think of where the elements are combined in chemical proportions. So this is for this slide. I hope it is clear to you, and if not, you can maybe just jot down your doubts and we can discuss them whenever we meet.